I know life is very different right now, so I thought I would share my favorite joke. I think most of you have heard it, but it's always worth a good retelling. So, this is the story of the man with the giant orange head. It happened one day. I was really exhausted. Before social distancing, I was on my way into a Starbucks and I was so exhausted. I walked in and my eyes are kind of bleary and I'm just craving some caffeine in a hurry. So I'm kind of like shuffling my feet, walking forward towards the counter, and the barista up there is busy doing something. And as I'm waiting for him to come to take my order, out of the corner of my eye, I see something. I look away. I look back, and I'm pretty sure I see a man with a giant orange head. Well, I stop looking. I feel like this must be terribly rude. I won't look. Okay, if there is a man with a giant orange head, fine. If there's not, even better. But regardless, it's not polite to stare at people. So the barista comes up finally and place my order. I'm like, can I have a venti skinny caramel macchiato, please? And goes and makes his order. And I'm just like sitting here being bothered by the fact that I'm pretty sure I saw a man with a giant orange head. So I say to the barista, sorry for asking, but I just need to make sure I'm not sleep deprived and seeing things. Is there a man at the end of the cafe with a giant orange head? And he's like, there sure is. And he's got quite a story to tell you about how he came to be this way. He also likes this drink. Here, I bet if you buy another one, bring it over to him, he'll tell you the whole story. I'm like, all right, give me another. So the barista comes back, I've got my 2 drinks, and I start walking slowly across the cafe. And I'm trying not to draw too much attention to the fact that I'm approaching this man. I don't want to bring anyone else's attention to him. He's probably very self-conscious of his giant orange head. But I come over and I set down the skinny caramel macchiato and I kind of slide it closer to him. I'm like, sorry to bother you, sir, but I can't help but notice you have a giant orange head. Would you mind telling me how you came to be this way? Reluctantly, with a exhale of resignation, the man with the giant orange head says, okay, grab a seat, I'll tell you the story. So, the man with the giant orange head begins. I was having a really horrible week. I had just been stood up by my fiance at the altar, and I subsequently lost my job because I was so distraught with grief, and everything seemed to be spiraling out of control in my life. So, I took the last bit of money in my bank account. I bought a plane ticket. I'm like, I need to go somewhere where I can relax, unwind, decompress, and get my life back together. So I took a plane ride to the beach, and I'm walking down the beach on like the 3rd or 4th day of my trip, and I'm not feeling much better. I'm still just worrying about all the money I've spent and what I'll do for money when I get back home. I'm very lonely because I've lost a woman I loved, and I'm just kind of walking and feeling really bad for myself. And all of a sudden, it stubbed my toe on something in the sand. Oh, so angry. I'm just like, nothing is going right. Out of rage, I just go to kick whatever it is, but then I stop because I see it kind of shining in the sand there. So I start digging. It looks kind of gold, and I'm like, wow, interesting. So I start digging, and it's really stuck in there, but I get both hands on it, and I pull it. In my hands, I'm holding what looks like an old oil lamp, something right out of, Aladdin. And look around, because I'm now quite suspicious about what's happening. I'm like looking for hidden cameras. Is there a crowd of people trying not to stare at me? Is this a hilarious joke that people are playing on me? I shout into the sky, if anyone's playing a joke, play it on somebody else, because I am having the worst month of my life. I just don't need any more harassment. Nobody answers. Well, as foolish as I felt, you can't find an old lamp buried in the sand on a beach and not give it at least 1 or 2 gentle rubs. So Just trying to act nonchalant, and I'm like, no, not here, rubbing a lamp, yep. No. But the second I rubbed it, poof! Out came a genie. The genie said, I am the genie of the lamp. You have awoken me from my slumber of 10,000 years. I shall now grant you 3 wishes. I stood in disbelief, not sure what was happening. Is this some sort of amazing light show? Am I literally losing my mind? But I'm like, you're a genie. Genie's like, yes, all powerful. And you can grant me 3 wishes. 3 wishes. So I start to think, all right, fine. Well, genie, all powerful genie, I wish for more money than I could ever spend, enough money that I will never need to work another day in my life. And the genie looked sternly at me and said, your wish has been granted. And I stood there thinking, well, what happened? I don't see anything. I'm like, genie, like, where's all this money? It's like, did you expect me to drop gold on your head? Go to your bank. Check. So I took the lamp and I tucked it under my coat, and I'm feeling extra silly now, but I'm trying to walk down to the nearest bank, and I put in my card and I start typing in my number, and I'm waiting to see my balance come up, and poof, a stream of 9s, more 9s than I could count, raced across the screen. I don't know how much money was in that bank account, but it was more than I could ever imagine, and I knew I had all the money I ever needed. So now, I'm holding onto this lamp like it's the most valuable thing in the world, maybe even more valuable than all this money. As the man with the giant orange head's telling me this story, I'm sitting there looking at him like, okay, I think I should have just left him alone. I don't know how he got this giant orange head, but he's also crazy. And the man with the giant orange head, in the middle of his story, pauses and says, I know, you're skeptical. I was skeptical too. Just keep listening. The story will all make sense in the end. I'm like, all right, go ahead. So the man with the giant orange head continues. I got back home and I immediately bought the biggest house I could find, and I started filling it with expensive things, bought tons of fancy sport cars. I threw these amazing parties and invited all the most famous, wealthy people around, and I was really enjoying myself. I was having so much fun. I felt like I was surrounded by people, and anything I wanted, any whim that I desired, I just went out and bought it. I didn't have to worry about money at all. And I kept enjoying life like this fully, and I was like going nonstop, and I felt like every day was a new adventure. But after a couple of months of living like this, I was exhausted. I realized all these people that were coming to all these parties I was throwing, I didn't really have any great connection with them. So I was actually in the middle of one party, and nobody seemed to be even paying attention to me, and I wandered off to a far corner of my mansion, and I pulled out the lamp again. And I rubbed the lamp, and I said, Genie of the lamp, I really appreciate all the money you gave me, but I need something else. I need more. So I said to the genie, Genie, I wish for you to give me the woman that I love, the woman of my dreams. The genie said, I cannot change the will of people. I cannot change free will. You must find another wish. I'm like, all right, let me think about this. All right, Genie, I don't want you to change anyone's will, but I want you to just have me meet a woman that I will fall in love with and who will love me in return within, this week. The genie thinks about that. He says, I suppose there must be someone in this world who would love you and who you would love. I will make sure that you will meet this person. Okay, so I'm looking around, and the genie said, you will find this person within 3 days. All right, so I go back down to my party, and I start introducing myself to pretty much every woman I see, and nothing seems to be happening. So I'm like, okay, genie said 3 days. So the next day I get up, and I'm just going to go out, and I'm going to start meeting some people and introduce myself to everyone I meet. And I spend the day talking with different people. None of that's working. I'm like, okay, let me invite everyone I know back over to a new party the next night. But end of that night, nothing. So I instead of inviting people I know, I make a big advertisement and I invite anybody else who's never been at my mansion before to come over to a new party. And more people come and I just start introducing myself to every woman I can meet, and nothing's really working, and I'm getting kind of discouraged. The third day comes, I'm running around like a nut. I'm like, I must try to meet this woman. At the end of the day, I'm exhausted, feeling discouraged, and thinking maybe the genie just couldn't deliver on this wish. And I'm coming back to my house, I'm walking up my long mansion driveway, and I see somebody sitting at my door, standing at my door, ready to knock. I'm just aggravated. This has been happening nonstop to me. As soon as I get money, people just start coming and asking for handouts and trying to sell me everything they can. I'm just so irritated. So I walk up and I put my hand on the person's shoulder and I go to spin them around, and my jaw drops as I'm staring directly into the face of the most beautiful woman in the world. I'm at a loss for words, and she can see the stunned look on my face, and I don't know what brought her to visit me in the first place, but all of a sudden, all of my anger melted away, and we just started having a wonderful conversation. We went out to dinner, and we just started this relationship, and it built over months, and she came to, eventually be my wife. And so years went by, and we were, blessed with incredible happiness and all the money we could ever imagine. I'm still sitting in the cafe listening to the man with the giant orange head tell me this story. And I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sure this is gonna be a great, story. I'm sure it's very entertaining, but I might have to get going. The man with the giant orange head stops and says, oh, wait. We're there. You just need to understand the last detail, and it'll all make sense. I'm like, okay. I guess I've waited this long. So the man with the giant orange head continues. All right, so as I was saying, my wife, the woman of my dreams, we're married, we're happy, we've been living together for years with all the money we ever needed. And one day, we're sitting out by the pool of our, in the backyard, and I look at my wife, and she already knows about the genie. I shared that secret with her years ago. But we look at each other, and we have this understanding. There's something missing. We both seem to understand what it is at the same time. So, I pull out the lamp, and I rub it, and the genie emerges. You have taken your time with your third wish. I assume you have thought carefully about what you want. And I look at my wife, and she looks back at me. And we nod. Yes, genie, we have. With my third and final wish, I wish for a giant orange head. If you're feeling disappointed, that's kind of the point. If you enjoyed it with me, you must have an odd sense of humor just like me. Some of you are probably angry. That's also expected. Hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and share any jokes that you might have thought were interesting, and we can try to find some levity in these tough moments. All right?